Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I have a 5x5 tutorial. It's 6 and 12 blocks by me and Red Tech. I'm going to show you opening and closing before we start. Also, there's no cooldown, so the second the door closes, I can unclick it. Because it won't matter, because the items in both of these hoppers control two different things, and the bottom is quick enough that it will work like that. So, you want to start with your 5x5 frame. And you want to dig out a 4x9 area. And if you're building this in survival, your floor level is going to be here, or whatever it is. And you want to dig 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks under it, I believe. Yeah, no. Yeah, 5 blocks under. And you might want to dig a little bit more because there are a bit of observers facing down. Oh. I can't use it, so yeah, there's a bit of observers facing down, so that might be hard to place. So I will be explaining how the door works as we go through. So let's start with the sides, because the sides are fairly easy. And then you do the other side. And what these will do is it will take care of the opening and closing to allow the door to work. And if you want to know, like if you're just starting redstone, like just right now, if you want to know why pistons extend, it's because I don't know, but I can explain how. You give it a power source, and then the game sees that there's a power source within its range of power, so therefore it will extend. And also, we use some of this action with button, and what will happen is this will power, and then it will update this 2 microticks later. So if you slow down your game, like a lot, like super duper slow, not like a fifth of a second or something, like super slow, you would probably see that this piston right here will extend just after this one. And that's what we use to power the sides. Same thing on the other side, but the other side's a little weird, like that. So those are the sides. Now the bottom is pretty simple. You want to place 3 pistons with a gap under your floor. This will be your triple extender and your single extender to grab the blocks here and push them up. Also grab here, blocks there, and also push blocks up. Now, since it's 4Y, you're probably wondering that we can't do this sort of thing. But we have to use something a little bit different. And it's sort of a weird strategy. Like, I could show you what the original ones look like. It's like, don't build this, but it will look like something like this. Like, if I get a comparator, it'd have like a dust there. It would have this weird setup like this. So it would look like this, and this comparator would feed out the 1 ticks. They're not used, but we don't use that. What we do use is we want to place a slab, and make sure it is a slab, at the bottom. Place 2 blocks like this. Then what you want to do is place an observer on top with a dust. And now you can either use note blocks or droppers. And do not use a lamp, otherwise it will not work. And it has to be a solid updatable block, so it can be a dropper, dispenser, or a note block. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to use the note block because it seems nice and I like it. And then you can place three observers like this. This will take care of powering the pistons here and also butting the pistons here. And to butt it, we need these blocks. They must be solid because if they were glass, the door, you would probably see nothing would work. Like the top would be missing storage and the bottom would be messed up. So now we want to place 3 pistons in this sort of thing. And then like this will take care of pushing in the storage that is here. And that is basically the inputs for, well, not really, we're missing a bit, but I'll get to that later. Well, the inputs are from the closing requires the input, so I'll do the inputs on the top. So, so you want to go like 5 up like this and place 4 pistons down like this, so it creates a quadruple extender, which is going to take care of pushing the blocks down from here and retracting them up, as you can see up here. It takes a bit because it needs to, otherwise it'll break. It is a bit slow, but it is nice. There we go. So once you have this, you want to place, so make sure your storage on the top is on the same side as your storage on the bottom. So when you would finish your door, you would have something like this, the storage sticking out. Next, you want to place your inputs. So I'm going to make this all barriers. You don't need to do this, but I like it because why not? And you can obviously not do this in survival unless you're hacking. So you want to place 3 redstone dust like this. If you can't see it, I will redo it for you guys, but I will replace it with barriers after. So you want to place 3 dust here. This would be on top of your ceiling, so it must be solid. And because it needs to be solid, we need to bud the pistons here and also power them there. So it would look like something like this. Now your updaters is a little bit weird because we need one updater here, but we need another updater there. So it's a little uneven, but that's how it works. You also want to place this here, but this is all going to be observers later, so we won't build the input. Well, we will. We'll just put an observer there. Gets 3 slabs. I already have the slabs. And place it here. And place, oh crap. And just place 3 redstone dust on top. And just place an observer there and observer there. And we'll get into the repeaters here later. So that would be all the inputs, and we're also forgetting one more input. So I'm gonna make these barriers just afterwards, after the video. So I also forgot about one thing, which is your lever, which goes diagonal from the top piston on the right. Make sure it's on the right. And if you're doing it on the left, if you're a lefty and you like the lever on your left, then make sure you switch this here. You want to switch these up there, so this piston would be over here, and this piston would be over here, and this here would have to be over here, and this observer wouldn't matter, I don't think. Yeah, this observer wouldn't matter, you can put it anywhere you want on this line, but I prefer it here because it looks nice. So that would be this. Now we're going to get into the sides. So the sides are really easy. So we're going to place, so you want to get what I have and grab some of this. Okay, so Now what you want to do is from this lever, you want to place a torch. This is very important, that if you don't have this torch, it will not work. And this will act as an OR gate. So when you flick this down, it'll turn off the torch because it hard powers the block and turns off like this. Now you want to place 2 hoppers running back into each other, so it looks like a little clock thing. And now you want to place 3 items in any of the hoppers, because they'll automatically go to the right hopper. Then you want to place 2 hoppers facing into each other on top, and then you want to place 10 items. And it'll automatically go to the right hopper. This is for later. And now we have to just place a comparator on top here. It's for later. Now what you want to do is just under this lever, you want to place an observer, which will get detected by this redstone dust, which will then do something like this. Or you could do, to save, this is kind of dumb, you don't really need to do this. You could save on 1 block and do this, but I think it looks better like this. You could just save 1 block, but that's not different. That's not any different. So it should look something like this, and all your side pistons should power. They're out of sync, but I don't give crap. So next what you want is to do this. You want to place this here, that there, comparator, and this will detect the items going into here, so it acts as a pulse extender, because 1 item will go in here, and then this will detect it, and then when all the items are here, it'll still be on, because there's still 1 item giving out an output, and then when 1 item leaves, there's still items in it, so it has to wait a bit, and that gives it a pulse extension of 3 game ticks, I think. So yeah, and this is 1 for 10 game ticks because we have 10 items, and this is the opposite, because since it's locking the torch, it will take a while to open because the items have to go back, and then it will open quickly on the opening. So yeah, then from here you want to place a hopper, then you want to place another observer facing downwards, then another observer, and this, and you want to place a note block. And then you need an observer here for later. And I'm also going to place next to there. It could be a hopper, a dropper, but I'm going to use a rail because I think it looks better. So just keep this there for now. That will do this side. Now to do the other side, we're gonna not wire up the side. We'll do it later because this side requires the extra moves. So this side is really the extra moves sort of thing. So now it should look something like this. So all these should extend, with these being 1 ticked. This comparator should be off after a while, and this comparator should be on with 3 items inside, 10 items here, and this and these would power. And just to show if they would power or not, just place 2 pistons in on purpose. As you can see, it works, which means you're doing it right. So now, this is also part of the input circuit, my mistake. You want a block here, this here. Can't remember which direction it goes. Up. So place this here. You also want, in this little gap here, you want to place a rail, because we're going to be butting this piston, otherwise it will not work. And this will control the closing. Yeah. This will control the closing, and that will control the opening. So there we go. Now we're going to move on to the bottom closing. So the bottom closing is really simple, because what we do is we take the first storage and we connect it to the input here, which will power this. And then take the second storage, because the second storage is only used twice in the whole door, once opening, once closing. And I'll take it, connect it to this, which will connect to this, which is pretty clever. So what we do here is a weird, strange thing. Oh yeah, so I'm just going to point out all the blocks that need to be solid, which will be all the blue blocks. So this needs to be solid, this needs to be solid, all of this needs to be solid, right? And this needs to be solid, right? Yeah. These need to be solid. Let me check. Nope, nothing there. Those two. And also these need to be solid. So yeah. It's not a lot of solid blocks, but that's how it works. So we go from here and we place 2 dots like this. And now what we do is we place an observer facing this way, I believe. Yeah. And before you place anything else, place this here, and that there. That goes into a block, and then a slab for a bit after. Then what we want from here is a repeater to go there, which will then power this block. And then to power this piston here, we place this here, this here, this here, this here, and that there. So that will power the storage. And then all we have to do is work out the timings. And to connect it, what we do is we place this here, a 3 tick, and it has to be on 3 ticks. Place this here, and then a 1 tick here. This will power that. And then, next, which is a simple part, we need to have this delay. Place this here, slab with a 2 tick repeater, and before you place, I want you to remove that, and then try to so just remove your storage, put down 2 ticks, and just fill it back in. So this would be the entire bottom closing. Well, not all of it, because we're still missing the double extender, but to know if it worked, you will flip over. Okay, that did not work. I don't know why. Because this is not redirected. Oh yeah, I made a mistake. This here needs to go down with the 2 tick. My mistake. And then we also have to place a block there, but I don't know why. So just get rid of it. Let's redo it. So it's not the whole thing because I messed up on a part. We also have to. Where does this come from again? Okay, so what we need here, this cannot be no block. It can be a dispenser or dropper. Place this here. Sorry about that. Deal with fat on me. Place a dropper there, which will get power from the dust. If it's a no block, it won't work, I don't think. So then you have those there. Then goes to there. And then what will happen is we go here, that's why we need a slab, and then we'll go up. And that'll do the entire closing on the bottom, except for the double extender. Might sneeze here. Oh, excuse me. Here it comes again. Whew. Sorry about that. So, to continue, just flip over. So the way that this works is that, and then to reset, what you want to do is just set it up like you got pushed down from the top, and then take a bit, just a bit longer. So the way that this works is that this will go into a lot of detail. We flip this lever, which will want to clear unpower this torch, releasing the items because it's being locked to this locked hopper. Since it's locked, it will not give up the items. Then it will go through this block to the comparator, and then when this comparator is on, the game sees that it's turned on, so it'll give an update to this, lock this hopper, and then the hopper changed state, so update this, lock, update to here. Then it will power this no block, which will power this rail, which will power this block, which only does the second storage. This one will power this observer, which will power this block, and then this dust will power this piston. One tick later power this piston, and then one tick later power this piston, so it's completely out of sync. And then a bit of delay later, it'll go down through here from the rail. It will power this piston in there. One tick later power these two pistons because they're both connected. This drop will then power from this dust instantly, and then about 5 ticks later, it will power this dust, and then this dust will also power this 3 tick, which will go into the 1 tick, which will power this dust, which will also power these pistons. Also, I forgot to say this at the beginning, make sure that you're in an area in where if you do this, it is this piston here that is extended, because if it's the other way around, it won't work. So if this piston extends like this, you're good to go. If it doesn't, then you have to build this somewhere else. Forgot to say that, because it is locational. Because in some locations, the game mechanics are different, allowing that to happen. So now we're going to build the double extender. So the double extender is really simple. What we do is we detect from this observer here with a lot of delay, but that's how it works. Place this here. Then we need a 4 tick here into a observer there with a 4 tick, and then that will go down like this. Let me just check really quick. Yeah, so this observer will update from this observer, which will power this 4 ticks later, go through this hard block being hard powered, power this 4 tick, and then it'll give 2 pulses to this dust, but that won't matter because it's another 4 tick. If it was a 2 tick, it would give 2 pulses, or 1 tick, or if it was a 3 tick or 4 tick, it'd stay on longer because it gives 2 pulses. And then we use all that delay. Down here, we want to place a slab, place 4 tick here, and then there's going to be a bunch of observers here. So I'm going to remove some of this and place this here. Now what we want to do is a strange little observer thing, right? Yeah, got it. So what we do is we had to experiment with this delay, but we eventually got it. You want to place 2 observers like this, then you want to go to the right, place a hopper there, then an observer with a block, yeah, and you want to place a sticky piston here and a sticky piston there. This will control the retraction for later, and make sure it's like this, otherwise it won't work. And I have to fix this. So to know if it worked, what you want to do is flip over. And it's okay if it does this, because the top pushed down because of the timing. Then, now because that It's a little different on the opening and closing. I don't really know why, but what happens is when it's extending, because pistons are weird when they extend and retract. Like there's a weird thing, and I think this is why. Don't do this, because like if you grab an observer like this, I think this is why. I don't really know. Let me know why. If you grab, so if you block like this, it will give one pulse on the opening, and it'll do something. But there's some weird areas in where it does two pulses. Like maybe I can find it. Like what will happen is this piston will push the block out, and as it's retracting, give another update. So it's a little weird, but that's just how it is. So what will happen is when the double extender powers, the weird thing is that this is a double extender, and that's why this is an observer, because this double extender is basically just a different version of this. It's just a different version. Because what it does is like it'll power this, and then one tick later will power these, and then it'll go push it up. So power this, powering those at the same time, and power these at the same time because these are solid. And since it's pushing it up, these will give one pulse. This will retract down, and then this will power, and then 2 microticks later, these pistons will retract because they're being butted. Therefore, it would work. And then these pistons only get one pulse on the closing. I don't really know why. I think it's because of the double extender, and that just allows it to work. To reset, just place your pistons on there, place your blocks here, and then we do this, and then it will go into the retraction. So it would work, and then yeah. So that's just how this works, and it's not that compact on the closing, but it just works. And then we're going to get to the bottom retraction. So the bottom retraction is really compact. Just don't mind this. I just put it there because why not? So I don't really know where to start. Well, I do know where it goes from. So I'm going to have to start dismantling some things. So I can't go into... Well, I don't have permission, so I can't really go in. Well, I'm gonna remove this. So it's a 4-tick going there. Got it. Okay, so let me. So what you want to do from here, and I believe that's on a block, right? Okay, so just remove this, so it's on the hopper. Got it. Sorry that it's messy. So what you want to do is place a hopper there, which apparently is powering by that. I don't know why it's a hopper. Well, this hopper's not going anywhere, so don't make it a hopper. There's some weird things in our door. Place a 4-tick there, and then what you want to do is place an observer there with a block, and then you want to go under a bit, place this with a 1-tick. This will do some weird retractions, and what this will do, that if I crap, what this will do is it will do a lot of the retraction because it's connected. It will do sort of a weird double extender. So what will happen is this will come up. It would power these pistons to retract, but and then these pistons would retract here. And then it will look like this. So this does a lot. And then to fully retract it, we use a little locking thing that is, which is a little bit weird to power. So I'm just gonna remove some of this stuff so I can see what's happening. Oh, come on. Okay, I have it. We use this observer here to connect it. So you go here, no, there, there, then it goes up a bit, right? And then I guess then we'll go up here to there to here. Then you can place some things on it like this dust and a 2-tick, right? Yeah. So then what you want to do is loop it around like this. 4-tick there, 4-tick there, block there, and a dust. And it has to be dust, and do not think that it needs to be a block. It needs to be a dust. Also, I need to fix this now. So this there, 2-tick. It needs to be, it can't be a block, otherwise it'd power this piston and mess up. And it needs to be like this to work. So then, this should be the entire bottom. The bottom's really good. I like the bottom. Also, I made a mistake. The first storage needs to be solid. No, they don't actually. My mistake. Because we powered from it. So, to know if this worked, to test this, I am going to remove this block just in case it fails, and you should too. And I don't think you should test it, because if it doesn't work, it'll take a bit to reset. So let's start it. And if this goes up, it works. So then you can place your block back. And then test it once test it once I finish opening. Then I put this down. Do this and then open it. There you go. So it's just really small, and there you go. So that's the bottom done, and we're gonna move on to the top. The top is really nice. It's my favorite. So remember how I said there's a bunch of observers here? We're gonna place those in later. So what you want to do is place 3 blocks here, grab a repeater, remove this observer, place 1 tick, so make sure they're on 1 tick, and do this. And then the top closing is really easy. All we do is power this, because the storage is only used twice in the door, which is on the storage, which means we could just connect that to the double extender, which is not what most people do. What most people do is they just power the storage, and then they go straight to the double extender after the storage is powered. But in this case, we just connect the storage to this, and we use the same kind of mechanism there as we do in the 6x6 that I made a while ago, that I just built on, that took a bit. So you see this here, and this line, these repeaters, is also over here as well. So to power it, what we do is a little weird hopper thing placement. Hopper there, observer there. Now, even though that's extended, it should be fine. I think I made a mistake. No, I didn't. What? That's there. That's on top of the block. That's there. Okay, so it is right. Okay. Thought I did something wrong. Doesn't matter if that updates because it will power and this will retract, therefore it wouldn't update in time to allow the double extender to power. And then what we do from here is we take this block and then put it there. So this would be the entire top closing. So the way that this works is that this hopper will leave all its items. So when the bottom pushes up this block, at the right time this will retract this piston and then retract this piston, power this hopper. 2 ticks later, it would come up here, and since this observer is not here, it would be down here because it's retracted. It wouldn't update the double extender, therefore breaking the whole door, which is pretty good. And then we detect it from here, which will power this, and these all need to be slabs, because then the pistons are weird, like, they don't fire. Like, I've had a time where only one piston fired. I had 2 pistons fired, and not the other one. Like, I had something like this. That's why they all need to be slabs. Then we connect the slabs to this observer, and these 1 ticks, which will power these 2 ticks later, and then these will power. And then 2 ticks later, it would bud these pistons because of this update. I've tried many things while building the door to try to put the updater here, because I always try to put the updaters within the closing. This is a tip for you guys. If you're ever building big doors, try putting your updaters within the closing, because then you can have more room, like just a little bit more room to build the crazy circuit, like the quad. But in this case, I couldn't fit it because we would have to have a dust there, like where this 1 tick is, but then it would always power this line and break it. And then we would have to have the observer here, and we can't have a block here. We can't have like an observer under here to power this. It just doesn't work like that. So we had to put the updater there. It was a little bit troubling, but we managed to get it in the end. So to build the double, that's actually top closing. So like I said, and to disable the bottom, what you want to do is to remove this block. You can either do 2 things. You can either remove this block or place a redstone block there. But I'm going to remove the block because the redstone block will lock the hop comparator, which is a little bit weird. But to test it, you have to wait a bit, and then you see that it come down like this. Now we have to do the double extender, which will be on the retraction the second that we unflick it. So the double extender is a little bit big, but this is the only way to get it to work. What we do is we have to place this here, we have to raise it up a bit, and then do this. So it's like a little staircase thing. Place 4 dust in all of them. Then what we want to do is a similar setup to the bottom. It's not the exact same, but we do something similar. So place 2 tick here, 4 tick here. So this will stay on for an extra 2 ticks because it's not like it will be basically a 4 tick pulse extender. So what we do is power this 2 tick, and then 2 ticks with this would be equal to this. Therefore, it would be like 4 minus 2 equals 2, and 2 is equal to 2. So, and then this would come on 2 ticks later after this comes on. Therefore, it would be a 4 tick pulse extender. And don't think that I actually have tried without the 4 tick like this. It will not work. It's just really weird. So it's just, you need to do that. Then what you want to do is grab an observer, place it there with a 1 tick, make sure it is 1 tick, and then place a block here. This will do the double extender. So the way that this works here is basically like the double extender down here with the 4 ticks I was talking about. It's the same mechanics, it's just up here. What we do is we power this with a 1 tick, so it gets a 1 tick pulse, and then since this is coming on 1 tick after, the pistons will already be down here, and they will extend with a 1.5 tick pulse. And since it's 1.5 ticks does not 1 tick things. So then it would just be a little bit weird and just extend, and then it will retract, and then 1 tick later it would pull blocks up. So if I unflick it, it'll do that. And you're probably wondering, how do we continue it? Well, what we do, we're not going to test it, we're just going to just place this here for testing purposes. What we want to do is we want to detect this line. Now this line, I've actually used this in a 5x5 that was in a single player world that I've gotten the idea by. Because most people, what they do is they have a bunch of lines in front of it, like this. Like there's a bunch of repeaters, and that just goes into the next part. But you could make things smaller, like I did over here. I did some. Me and Michelokey, we made a little double extender here that's similar to that one, and then we just detected it with 2 items in here because it gets 2 pulses, and that's how it works. So yeah, it's a little bit weird, but yeah. So instead of using 2 items here, we actually use a 1 tick, and it needs to be a 1 tick. We want to place this here and a 2 tick here. This will act as a monostable. So what will happen is that if I do this, it will turn on. So it's basically a T flip-flop. But what we have to do is make it a falling edge T flip-flop, which we have to put the block up here, which will mean that it will not power in the. So power there, doesn't power there, powers there, and that's how we detect the rest of the quad. And that is basically a similar thing over here, but imagine the first pulse is the 1 item and the second pulse is the other item. So yeah. Then from here, this is 2 tick, we have to go up here with a dust. We have to go up 1 to this 2 tick. And then we have to go up into a slab right here, like that. That would do some of the retraction. And then to do the next part, we have to place a slab here. Then we do a 4 tick here. And then I use a similar thing to finish the quad. It's really, really simple. What we do is I use the same mechanic over there, but over here, so it has to be like this, otherwise it will not work. What you need is a 1 tick and a 4 tick, and the reason why is because it can't be like this, because we're going to be using an observer here, and if it was a 4 tick, you have 2 pulses, but we only want 1. So this observer here will go down here, power this block, which will power this, and at the right time it will do the budding pulse. So if I show you it, you saw the pulse when they were here. That's what this observer does, and that will do the entire quad really small, because all the quad is this locking thing, this thing over here, and this. Now this 1 tick and 4 tick I actually used over here. You can see it in the quad here. We used to do 1 tick here and a 4 tick, and there's an observer underneath, and then there's these weird repeater timings to allow this to work. The quad in this one's also very similar to that one, it's just smaller. It works the same way, but it's just slower. So that should be the whole quad. Now you can actually test your door to see if it worked. You can remove this redstone block, you can place the block back. The door will not fully work, you're just missing the extra moves on the other side. So let's do it. You can flip the lever, it's pushing up, and this side will not power yet. Then you can unflip it. This will push up. And then all we need to do is power these sides and do the retraction of this, which is really nice. And this was one of the hardest parts of the door. We managed to get it though. So what we need to do is we have to power the sides in order to power the extra moves. So what we do is we actually detect it from this piston. And there's a weird thing in the game that I've happened before, and what happens is if you have a piston like this, you can detect it like this. It's a weird, I call it a bug. So what happens is like, you're one ticking this, and you saw how you get 2 pulses there? But you only get 1, so look. So what you can do is, if you look closely, you have 1 pulse there, and you have 1 pulse there. I don't know why I have to. So you're gonna see something a little bit weird. Huh? I saw this give 2 pulses earlier. Well, I guess if I do this. Well, there was a thing in the game in where this would get 2 pulses, and therefore, because this piston would extend, and then it would retract, therefore giving it 2 pulses. But since we have the 2 tick, it only give 1. Because here, I think it's like a location or direction thing or thingy-majig. Because I put this on 1 tick to try and make it faster, and it broke the whole thing. Like the sides spanned and the quad didn't fully extend. So yeah. And now what we want is an observer here, a block here. This will power the sides. We need a piston here. This is why this cannot be a block. And we want to place an observer here. This is for the extra moves, but we're going to get to that after. We're going to place this here. We want 2 observers actually. Place this here. A dust. An observer here and a dust. So that'll power the side. And to do the extra moves, we have a T flip-flop at the bottom. So we use the little piston thing. This will come up and then down. It doesn't matter if this 1 ticks because the T flip-flop is down here. So make sure that your piston is here. Place a hopper here, which will get updated from all of these when the bottom powers from this, which powers from the closing. Then we go up. Then we go up again. No, we try making it as fast as possible. So what we did was something like this. We used a little chain reaction thingy magic. So it's like and all we need to do is really simple. All we do is power these pistons, the retraction, power the storage, which will instantly do everything else, and then do the double extend, which is why we need all those crappy observers there. So what we want to do is place a block here, a hopper, this here, and then this here. It doesn't matter if I would power this piston. It will give 2 pulses, but it would be a little bit weird in that it will actually still update. Well, it won't really. It doesn't need to update the piston because nothing we butted. So just retract them up. Then what we do is we have a dust down here, which is why this needs to be solid. A 2 tick, and then we have, and to power the storage, we do this. It can't be blocked because it's hopper. So pretty much what we have. So what you would see if you test it now on the opening, you would have something a little like. You'd have something like this. Like that. And to fix that, we're gonna have to do some terraforming. You want to remove all of this and all of this. To do this next part, I can't really remember how it is. Okay, I got it. So we want to place a hopper on top of this storage. 2 observers upwards. 1 here. 1 down. And we can't have, I don't think we do it that way. No, because we won't need all that delay. Let me go up here, then you can place your 1 ticks back, then you can place your observers, and then to finish it off, an observer there. So now that should be the entire door done. So if you did do that, I suggest that you do it now. Don't test it because you don't know if it's going to work. So what you want to do is make this little setup. So make sure you have 2. I'll show you how to do it. So what you want to do, let's say you have your 4 pistons like this. I'm gonna break all of them. Well, actually, you don't need to do this. Well, you can test it, but don't do it now. What you could do now is just grab a redstone block or something and one-tick that. So then it would look like this. And then to retract it, just place your blocks there. There you go. And then we can test the door. So don't test it because you don't know if it's going to work. If mine breaks, don't test it after, and we'll just see if it works. So you see that these all powered, and this will be extended. So to know if it's going to work, so what you can do is, if the door is like broken and you fully fix it all, remember on the opening, this observer is down here. Otherwise, your quad would power on the closing, which is not good. Now we can test this. So it looks like it's working, and it works. So what this means is now you can fill in your door, and you can also test it. If you did test it when I told you not to, you should have listened to me, that if it broke, that's probably your fault and not mine. And yeah, it's been a while that I've made a tutorial, and this door here is technically based off of this door in some way. Like, we use the same mechanic here with the closing. We connect the storage on the bottom here to the other storage, and yeah, it's a little bit weird. And I have a bit of an announcement to make. And so you know how I use a lot of observers and not a lot of droppers and hoppers, like a lot, like, you know, those crazy dropper hopper builds that are absolutely nuts with like so many droppers and hoppers and minecarts. Like the smallest observer is 6x6. I'm going to start using more droppers and hoppers, so prepare to get complicated. And yeah, so I was thinking to change up this door bits, like thinking to get rid of these observers here and make like a toggle. Same thing over here, like a toggle. I was also I used a bit of hoppers mechanics there. From redstone, or if you remember the stupid piston door, I'll link it in the description. You can know when I show you the redstone that there's a lot of droppers and hoppers. That was because I needed delay, and I just used that. I also used a little bit of dropper hopper in this 5x5. So I used like some RS latch there, some things here. And my favorite part of this door is the top quad. Let me know your favorite part of this door in the comments. And I will be making a smaller one eventually. And I will eventually get my redstone built from redstone around here, so my plot will be much bigger. I'm going to see if I can do some copying and some magic. If someone could help me and give me a builder so I can actually do some things. So I can put my other 5x5s here and here and do some other funky things with my redstone builds and put them every now and then. And yeah. Also, you should also check out my latest video. It's like about a minute long. It's the smallest block swapper. It's right here. I just released it a bit of ago. And hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. I didn't really explain it too well because I'm tired. And I'm gonna try to make as much videos as possible before Monday, because I'm gonna camp because I have crap in life and life is sad. So there's probably gonna be a massive lack of uploads, like not even like once a week, like probably like once every 2 weeks, maybe even twice. And I'm probably gonna be doing a live stream eventually. So where I'm gonna be grinding to 100 stars for Bed Wars because why not? And hopefully I can get that done before school starts again in September, which is a while from here. And so just a heads up, I'm gonna be trying to upload as many videos. And don't unsub because I can't upload that much videos for the next 6 weeks starting Monday. It's just that like I'm doing stuff that I'm doing stuff. So pretty much till Monday, I'm gonna try to upload every day for you guys. And to finish the video off, let's see the door opening and closing. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the store or redstone overall. And I am going to be back. Like I'll be home eventually. I'll be at home eventually while doing this. So like after I finish whatever I'm doing every day, I will be home, so I might have a couple videos or two. But the live stream will probably not happen until like once I get to 95 stars, probably when I'm gonna grind it for the stream, which will probably have to be on a weekend and definitely not during the week. Also, if you're very rich, if you're extremely rich, just as a side note for the door, just grab some of these things. If you're really rich, just do what I do. Just, you can place like a crafting table there, ender chest, this here, this here, this here. I also put a flower. God dang it. Just do some things, whatever you want. So, just do some of this if you like. Because lols are amazing. There we go. Just do some of that. Do some more chest work. Like this. Do some of that. Because yeah, I don't know why this is not working. Just do whatever you want. You can do some of this stuff if you like. You can make this your house. Gonna grab some furnaces, place them along there. Let's get like enchantment table. Let's get an anvil. You don't need to do this. You can just end off the video here if you don't want to see this. Anvil there. You can also get like, let's get a jukebox for music. Also, fidget thing. We can just, I'm just gonna end off here. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Remember to sub, like, and remember that I won't be here for a while, and live stream coming up soon. So, see ya.